Hi guys, and welcome to another video here on the IRL part of the DDM channel, and we are here at Jem-Sport, as you can see. And in this video we're going to be swapping over our factory Ford ECU over to a Link ECU Neo 4. This is one of the first in the country, so that's the really exciting new part about this build, and we're going to be testing on the dyno to see what kind of improvements we get on the car. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Welcome to Jem-Sport. My name is Jake Meinert. I'm the owner, tuner, calibrator. We offer tuning services on our all-wheel drive Mustang dyno, any and all wiring services or install standalone ECUs. We also have a line of products, Eco-Boost swap products that we've been developing over the last couple of years. Anything tuning related, especially when it comes to a Link, we got you covered.
What's going on? This is Dustin at Jem-Sport. Today we have our very first Neo 4 harness. We're going to give you a handful of install tips here. Starting off, when I threw this harness on, the main thing is just getting this trunk set in where you want, which allows you to route either in the engine bay. A lot of factory ECU locations are going to be down in your passenger footwell area. This also gives you the option to route into the cabin. Moving on from there, once you get your ECU location and DI driver location locked down and you know where that's going to be at, you can start routing your actual sensors out to the engine. That's the next major step. So in the rear of the engine, you're going to start out, you've got your high pressure fuel pump sensor back here. You've got both of your cam position sensors in the back. Our harness also includes a O2 sensor that's going to be in this main trunk, along with a fuel ethanol content sensor. Another great feature on our harness is this DDM 12-pin expansion. It allows you to add in additional sensors, whether that's pressure related, temperature related. We give you the option to do so. Once you got your harness in the bay, another helpful thing is going to be removing your intake manifold. Back here there is a Ford section of harness, and that runs to your injectors and a handful of other things. So that connector is going to be in the back here under the intake manifold, along with getting to the alternator is a little bit easier with the intake manifold off. Within a handful of minutes, under 5 minutes, you can have these intake manifolds off and gain the access that you need to make this a breeze. When you get up to the front of the engine, up here by your timing cover, you're going to have your variable cam timing sensors, and then there's going to be two leads that run down. One is going to be your boost control solenoid connector here. And then if you look down here in between the power steering bracket and the engine, your crankshaft position is going to be right down in there. There's just a handful of tips for you. Hopefully it makes your Eco-Boost swap a breeze. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up here at Jem-Sport. We'll get you taken care of.
We are in the dyno room with the car, and we are with the tuner Jake from Jem-Sport, owner of Jem-Sport. Now Jake.
Hi.
Good to see you, buddy.
I'm Jake.
Hi, my name is Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, never heard that before.
Right. But what are we doing today? Something a little different, huh?
Yeah, tuning 2-liter Eco-Boost on the new Neo. You know, using Nostrum equipment and
Right.
trying to get the data figured out for that.
Why is it so important that you need injector data for a DI engine?
So, like, the best way to explain it is, you know, with a regular engine that has like port fuel, the pressures and flow rates that you're dealing with are 10x, sometimes 20x less than what DI deals with.
Really?
Right? So, like, the rail pressures are, you know, 20,000 kPa instead of 300, 400.
Right, yeah.
You know, so, and controlling the high pressure fuel pump is a pretty big part of like getting that control.
How much more work is it to tune a DI engine versus a non-DI engine? If you have data for just for
So it's not really any more work at all.
Interesting.
So
okay.
if you have everything you need, it's really not any more difficult to do.
Gotcha.
All the principles are the same.
Right.
You know, there might be, as far as like getting that injector data in to the ECU, there might be a couple extra steps that cost you an extra 30 seconds or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But it's not a like substantial difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the big thing obviously is the data is way more abundant when you're working with non-DI engines for the most part.
For now, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll change in the future. But
that's part of what we're doing too, is we're working with Link to make sure that they have good base maps and good data and information, and all this type of stuff will be in convenient drop-down menus. For the end customers and all
in the future,
stuff.
someday.
Right. Yeah. Someday it will be very simple. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, let's have some fun. Let's click some keyboard pads.
Yeah.
Some keyboard buttons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
the magic. Yeah.
Let's have some fun. All right. Yeah, we just finished some pulls at the dyno. So I'm here with Jake. You actually got some extra time with this thing just to kind of figure out the new ECU and how it's working with the Eco-Boost platform. But we end up getting some numbers. But it's a very interesting platform that people might not know why this platform would be good for drifting. So you want to kind of just hit me with the numbers of what we ended up getting.
The torque.
Yeah,
is the big one.
Yeah. We'll put the dyno graph up so you can see it as well, and you'll see what he's talking about here.
Right. Yeah. Peak wheel torque at 335, just about.
Yeah.
And it carries that for quite a while. You see that horsepower curve.
Right.
Stay up there.
What would you akin the graph to? Like, kind of similar, like a V8 or LS?
Yeah, super similar to an LS.
Yeah.
It's basically going to do the same thing. It's going to actually make a little bit more torque than like a stock 5.3.
Right.
It's your typical, hey, I can get a LS off a junkyard for $1,000. Like most of those guys are getting 5.3s.
Right.
Out of trucks. I've tuned plenty of those, and their graphs are pretty similar.
Right. Well, and the thing is, this is a stock 2-liter. This is the one thing you got to remember. Like, this is a factory Ford. What was it?
2014 Ford Escape.
Ford Escape engine. Yep. So no.
All stock turbo.
Yep.
Everything is factory. Yeah.
So there's very easy ways that now we can kind of grow off of this base platform. But like for me, learning how to drift, I like having. Not that this is even low power, because it's still like 240. Wheel or
we're just shy of 240 wheel,
just like 240 wheel horsepower, but then like you said, what was it,
335.
Oh, okay, so 335 torque,
pretty good.
But the nice thing for me is, and especially for drifting, that torque is so nice to have, especially for someone that may be not as aggressive on getting like clutching off and getting back on the gas. It's kind of saves you and keeps the tires spinning, even though maybe like if it was an SR car, you'd have to make sure you rev the crap out of the car before you let the clutch go to make sure the tires are spinning. So this car, you can actually drive it a little less aggressive, kind of like a V8 car.
So as someone who's learning how to drive, you probably get it. You could spend more time worrying about learning the techniques, learning things the correct way, as opposed to
I don't have to drive the engine as hard as I would if it was like, for example, like a 300 horsepower SR. Like in comparison to this, like this is probably easier to drive than I would think a 300 horsepower SR car.
Probably, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
because it all happens at low RPM.
Exactly. And like I said, you got to reiterate that this is a stock engine. Like that's the cool part. Yeah. So, and it only goes up from here. Right. Whether you do the 2.3, bigger turbo on 2 liters, like there's so many other options that, you know, I'm sure we're gonna have fun playing with later. But it's
you talked about the Garrett.
Yeah, so like stuff like that. It's like this, and the cool thing is how long has this engine been in this car? Like 4 years?
Oh wow, at least 3 years now.
Like drifted,
it's
like
been
hard.
being abused every chance we could get for a solid just over 3 years.
Yeah,
I bet.
because this is your guys' longest running.
It is
2 liter.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. This car has been running an Eco-Boost longer than any other car that we know of.
Yeah.
In the same configuration.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it's doing all that. But the next step is with the Neo, and with the Neo you're able to see, okay, these things are starting to degrade. They're not like unusable, but like you are now, because you get so much more data with a link, you can now see and test these things and see, okay, this is probably in the future where we're going to want to upgrade after, you know, 4 years of drifting on an engine, you know. It's like, but like,
absolutely.
You know, and like, so like, what are some of the cool things that you've been able to now see that we've switched it off a stock ECU into a link ECU?
So I think a big one is the knock system that these have is it's really good, and you're able to see like that raw data at like a pretty high frequency, whereas like on the OEM ECU it might just, like, if it ran into knock or, you know, pre-ignition, whatever you want to call it, it would, you might be able to see it,
right?
But you don't really necessarily know like to what extent, like how severe is that,
right.
And the OEM ECU is just going to react to it, pretty much regardless. So being able to see things like that at a high rate and really understand what's going on is probably the biggest benefit. I mean, we definitely had some hiccups with this one that, you know, if I didn't have really good data that I could look at and actually study, and like, I probably spent more time with this than a normal tuner would, but still, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest benefits.
Right, and for you, it's good experience to like work with the new link platform that just came out, and I mean, it's a pretty cool deal. I mean, for the price point and what you're able to get from the link it's pretty hard to beat.
It's a fantastic ECU. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to buy something to wire in, if you can afford it, your dollar doesn't go much further than Neo 4.
Yeah, and like as you guys saw, we were able to actually put a limiter on this car, which it didn't have really at all with the OEM ECU. So I'm already excited about that. There's so many more things that we're gonna have fun with on the car, making all kinds of fun, goofy noises, and because I'm a child and I like child noises. But
you can't do that with the OEM.
No, you can't.
Like
but so another successful day on the dyno though. I'm actually super excited. We're gonna be ripping this car pretty soon. So, all right, see you later, guys.
See you guys.